Alright, let's talk about the butterfly effect. And no, it's not a movie about a guy who grows wings. It's a scientific concept that basically explains why your life is unpredictable and why the weather forecast is usually a lie. Here's the deal: the butterfly effect is the idea that one tiny microscopic change at the start of something can lead to a massive, world changing result later on. Usually, people use the example of a butterfly flapping its wings in Brazil and causing a tornado in Texas. Now, does the butterfly literally create the tornado? No, it's not a superhero, but that tiny puff of air from its wings pushes a few molecules of oxygen. Those hit other molecules. It's like a chain reaction. Think of it like a giant mountain of snow. If you throw a single pebble at the top, it might do nothing. Or it might nudge one snowflake, which nudges 10 more, and suddenly you're running away from an avalanche. The pebble didn't make the snow, but it started the process. Everything in the universe is basically just waiting for a pebble to be thrown. This isn't just a deep thought people have while staring at clouds. It's actually based on math. Back in the 60s, there was a guy named Edward Lorenz. He was a meteorologist, which is just a fancy word for someone who guesses if it's going to rain. He was using a computer to simulate weather patterns. One day, he wanted to run a simulation again to double check his work. The computer had a number stored as 0.506127. But Ed, being a human who likes shortcuts, decided to just type in 0.506. He figured it's 1,000th of a difference. That's basically zero. Surely the computer won't care about a number smaller than a grain of salt. He was wrong. Very wrong. That tiny difference, that 0.000127, completely changed the entire weather system in his simulation. One version was a nice sunny day. The version where he rounded the number up ended up being a giant storm. This is what we call sensitive dependence on initial conditions. It's a long phrase that basically means if you mess up the beginning even a little bit, the end is going to be a disaster. Ed realized that nature is chaotic, not random chaotic, but sensitive chaotic. It follows rules, but the rules are so sensitive that we can't keep track of them. Let's look at why this matters to you, because let's be honest, you probably don't care about weather simulations from the 1960s. Imagine you're walking to school. You see a cool looking rock on the ground. You spend exactly 3 seconds picking it up and putting it in your pocket. Those 3 seconds are your butterfly flap. Because you're 3 seconds late, you reach the street corner just as a bus is passing. The bus splashes a puddle. If you hadn't stopped for the rock, you would have been past the puddle. But now your shoes are soaked. You get to school and you're grumpy because your feet are wet. Because you're grumpy, you're mean to your friend. Because you're mean to your friend, they don't invite you to their birthday party on Saturday. On Saturday, instead of being at the party, you stay home and watch a documentary about space. You get inspired. You study hard. 20 years later, you're the first person on Mars. All because of a rock. If you hadn't picked up that rock, you would have gone to the party. met a guy named Kevin, started a band, and spent your life playing bass guitar in a garage. Both lives are fine, I guess, but they are completely different, and the only thing that decided which one you got was a 3-second rock. People always ask, if we know the butterfly effect exists, why don't we just use computers to predict everything perfectly? Here's why. You can't. To predict the future perfectly, you would need to know where everything is. Not just the big stuff like cars and houses. You'd need to know where every butterfly is, every gust of wind, every sneeze, and every single atom in the atmosphere. If you miss even one atom, the butterfly effect takes over. Your calculation will be right for a minute, maybe an hour, maybe a day, but eventually, that one missing atom will cause your prediction to veer off into a totally different direction. This is why the 10-day weather forecast is basically just a guess. By day 10, the butterflies have had 10 days to mess up the math. It's kind of annoying that we can't know what's coming, but it's also the reason life isn't boring. If we could predict everything, we'd just be living out a script. This way, at least the chaos is original. So, to wrap it up, tiny things lead to big things. Small changes at the start lead to massive changes at the end. And math says you'll never truly know what's going to happen next. Does this mean you should overthink every single move you make? No. That sounds exhausting, and frankly, I don't have the energy for it. Just know that what you do matters, even the small stuff, especially the small stuff. I'm going to go eat lunch now, or maybe I won't. Maybe me skipping lunch will cause a chain reaction that saves the world. Probably not, but it's a good excuse to be lazy. See ya.